In this video, I'm going to show you 3 grunge effects you need to be incorporating in your next music video. Grunge effects are becoming more and more popular, so sit back, relax, and learn some effects. If you're new here, my name is Brian Delmata, and I make educational content for creators online. And if you're not subscribed already, be sure to do that. 50% of you guys are not subscribed. I make amazing editing packs and plugins that you can find down below. And if you're into grungy effects, my Grunge 98 pack is probably a great choice for you. I also have a private community called Creator Pass where I teach creators how to grow their personal brand, create and sell digital products, and make passive income. There's a course and also weekly live calls with me. I'll have everything linked down below, but let's get into the video. So in Premiere Pro, I want to show you how to make a Hi8 camcorder-like effect, almost very similar to like what you would get if you used one of these actually, but I'm going to show you how to do it in Premiere Pro, all 100% digitally with like 3 effects. It's super simple. You're going to be using it in your next video. So getting started, the first effect you want to drag on is noise. You can use color noise, but I like to uncheck it and we can just drag it up a bit. Right now, it doesn't really matter. Just make it pretty visible. We'll tweak it in just a second. And the next effect you're going to want to bring on is mosaic. And let's bring this to like 500, 500. So now you can see you're starting to have like a little bit, it's interacting with the grain in a way where it's almost making it look like a digital camera a little bit. You can bring up the noise to make it look a little bit more noisy like this, or you could even bring it down. For our clip, I think right around that 50 mark looks pretty good. And then playing around with lumetri color, just making the highlights blown out a little bit by dragging up the highlights, making the contrast just a little bit more, kind of adds to that effect. You can also play around with the saturation if you want to like desaturate it and make it look a little bit more grungy, or you can even oversaturate it. A lot of these Hi8 cameras have different looks, so you can play around with the color temperature and the tint and the saturation. I think I'm going to desaturate it just a little bit, and then you can even go into the curves and play around with the curve editor a little bit as well. If you want to like blow out the blacks a little bit, you can do that by just dragging up the line. And if you play that, you can already see we have a very solid camcorder-like look. It's crazy how quick you can transform your footage to looking like a camcorder. There's a few things also I want to show you just to sauce it up a little bit more. So a lot of the Hi8 cameras shoot in 4:3, so if you drag crop on, you can actually just click on the crop effect here and then bring the bars over just to get a little bit of like that crop look. So maybe like 12% and 12% just to get an idea. And now you have your footage cropped like this. And another thing you can do is actually uncheck uniform scale. And if you play around with the width now, say if you want it to be like stretched out and pixelated, you can do that as well. And now it has that Hi8 look as well. You can see a lot of times people stretch their 4:3 footage like this. So it's cool to kind of have that look emulated digitally. And then if you have Sapphire, S_JPEG damage is actually really crazy if you add it on here. It's not exactly like camcorder, but it gives this like grungy, distorted look that I actually really like, and it makes it look a little bit more unique. You can see if we toggle it on and off, it just adds a little bit extra like grunge to it. And if you want to save time while editing and have these effects in form of presets, inside my Grunge 98 pack, I have a camcorder preset that you can just drag on, instantly be done. It also has low shutter, it has night shot, and then a bunch of different looks as well. So if you like the grungy kind of aesthetic, definitely check out Grunge 98. I'll have it linked down below. Use code GRUNGE5 at checkout and you'll save $5. And this next effect we're gonna go over is how to do this paper grunge effect where it's like kind of laggy. It looks like it's printed on printer paper. And yeah, it looks really solid. I love this grungy effect. It's super easy to do. Let me try to do it. So let's go ahead and add it right here. That way you can see what it looks like without the paper effect and then with it. So from the Ultimate Texture Bundle V3, the printer paper overlay pack, I'm going to be using the medium res clean 12 FPS overlay that makes it look like paper. And then if you drag that in over your clip and scale it to the proper frame size, you can change the blending mode to screen or whatever you like. And you can already see it looks like it's printed on some paper, which is cool. But we can take that a step further and add on an effect like posterize time. And if you drag that onto your video layer and change the FPS to 12 because we're using the 12 FPS overlay, you can see it's going to line up with the paper effect and kind of lag. Another thing I like to do is use lumetri color to just match the overlay to fit our footage a little bit better. So I like to add an S curve and kind of just blend it in a little bit. We can see what it looks like on our other clip as well. Going to our basic correction. If you bring up the highlights, it's going to show the paper effect a little bit more. And if you bring it down, it's going to make it a little bit more subtle. I'm going to make it a little bit darker just for this clip here. And if we scale it up so there's no black bars, you can kind of see what that would look like. Instantly has this grungy paper effect over your whole entire video. You can just hold Alt and duplicate this throughout. So if you want to apply it to your whole entire video, you could do it as simple as that. It's a great way to add texture to your video and just add that grungy kind of aesthetic. If you want the printer paper overlays, I'll have them linked down below as well. And then lastly, I want to go over how to do something very similar to that low shutter effect you just saw here, all 100% digitally. So getting started, the effect you want to drag on is echo. And you can go ahead and see you already have it look like this kind of like a little bit laggy, but it's not exactly what we want yet. So if you bring up the number of echoes, it's going to actually brighten up your image, but it's also going to have a lot of the trails now. So you can play around with the echo operator to see exactly what you want. There's a bunch of different looks. Let's go ahead and use screen, but you can see it's already blown out our image. It's way brighter than it probably should be. So let's go ahead and change the decay to like 0.8. That's gonna make it a little dimmer as well, but also just like let the ghosts kind of like fade out over time. You can see how there's like duplications and it's slowly getting dimmer and dimmer. You can see if you go 0.5, it's a lot more less noticeable. So let's do something in between there, maybe like 0.75 or something like that. That looks good. And let's go ahead and add posterize time on. This is the laggy effect that we added on for the paper effect, and it definitely helps here as well. I do like to drag it above and below, just kind of see what works best for your clip. So you can see it's a little bit more laggy now. And if you drag it below, this is what it looks like. So I like the way posterize time looks below the clip for this one, but it's gonna be dependent on your footage. And to blend this to make it match your original footage, if you use lumetri color, you can kind of just go ahead and underexpose it a little bit, add some contrast back in, and slowly just match it back to what your footage looked like before. It doesn't have to be perfect because it is kind of like a stylized look. I definitely think it goes a long way just making it look a little bit more like your footage did before. So if you have a reference clip like this, you can kind of compare, and I think that's probably close enough to what we want. Maybe it's actually just a little oversaturated because we added so much contrast in, so we could just go ahead and desaturate it just a tad. And there you are, you have a super simple low shutter effect in Premiere Pro. If you want to level up your videos and also support me as a creator, check out that Grunge 98 pack and the Ultimate Texture Bundle V3. I'll have them both linked down below. I use the Ultimate Texture Bundle V3 for those paper overlay effects, and then I use Grunge 98 for the camcorder, night shot, low shutter effect, all those kind of grungy stylized looks. If you made it to the end of the video and you're not already subscribed, be sure to be subscribed. I upload videos like this all the time. If you want to support me as a creator and also level up your videos, check out my amazing editing packs, presets, and plugins. And if you want to learn how to make money as a creator, grow your personal brand, sell digital products, and make passive income, check out Creator Pass. I'll have it linked down below. It's my new private community with courses, live calls with me, and a bunch more value. But that's all I got for you guys in this one. Peace.